Hello and welcome to Together Forward's YouTube channel. I'm Annette Blankenship. Today I want to get a little bit deeper into what we talked about last week. Last week we talked about how to claim your life back, and we had 7 steps to getting your life back. So today we want to dive in and go deeper into the number 1, which was get clear on what you really want. And so a lot of people had asked me, I hear what you're saying about getting clear, but how do I do that? Like, how do you gain clarity? And that's a really good question. I think so many times business owners can go and just, they've got a business and it's thriving and it starts to thrive and they just keep doing the same thing. Even in a corporate career, you start to thrive in a certain place and then, your career takes off, but then the next thing you know, you turn around and you've got this life and you're not sure you really want. And like I told you in my video last week, that happened to me. Like I was plodding along on life and I just was very unfulfilled in what I was doing. I was doing a lot of different things that didn't really seem to be cohesive in my life, and I was struggling. I had a lot of things going on and I was not quite sure what was happening, but I knew that I needed to change. And so in order for me to get clear, I had to do something different, right? I can't just keep doing the same thing. So that was the first thing. We have to do something different. And in order to do something different, we have to create that time and that space, right? So that was part of what I had to do. I had to say, I am going to do something different by setting aside a month of time and to really get clear on what I want out of my life. And so that's what I did. I, wrote down my first goal, get clear on all aspects of my life and have it all going into a direction that was fulfilling and felt right for me. And, building up to this point, I had always wanted to own my own business. I had always, thought about it, and I had always I think I'd done little things here and there on the side, but I was ready to get focused and figure out how can I make this happen and what kind of business do I want and, who am I kind of thing and why am I here? All these purpose questions came up because my work was no longer fulfilling and I didn't really even understand what was happening. But I think before you can really, push through that, you have to ask yourself a lot of questions. You have to challenge yourself. In addition to making space, that's exactly what I did. Like I said, I set aside some time every day to go into my little, area, and I had to, I meditated, I prayed and I asked for wisdom and direction. And then I started contemplating what do I want out of this life? What am I going to do? And so, and I reflected and I asked myself some really hard questions. But the very first thing that I had to do was figure out who I am. Like what skills do I have? What is my natural wiring? So I sat down and I really thought through those things. So the first thing I did was, reflected on my personality. And in personality tests, there's the MBTI, and there's the DISC assessment. There's also colors and all sorts, Enneagrams. It's really about understanding who you are as a person and being able to articulate that to yourself. And then understanding not only from there, but what are your skills? And sometimes your skills, you might have a skill, but you don't really like to use it very much. And so when I figured out, I was an INTJ, and there were certain, people that were INTJs, there were certain career choices that you could go into. It just kind of helped give me something to, manage myself on. Not that I had to do exactly what the personality test recommendations were, but so I focused on that. I really thought about what does it mean to be an INTJ and what are my strengths here? What are my weaknesses? And then I started to think about what do I enjoy? And I tried to take off the hat of I should, because it's not about what's in your head, it's what's in your heart. Where is your heart? And I really had to figure out what what do I want? What do I care about? What are some things that make me happy? Like, how do I want to show up in the world? How do I want to use my time to help people? And at the time, I also knew that, I had done a disc assessment, and I was a driver and also an analyzer. And so really being able to put those two together was important to me. And I knew that I enjoyed at work being able to be both leader and a process improvement person, to where I could analyze data and get insights and help make improvements. Those were things that were important to me. And so I knew whatever business that I did was going to have to include that. And so that's, being able to understand who I was and being able to reflect on the things that I wanted and the things that fulfilled me. Now, I also, because I did this over a month, I journaled. And so journaling is very important. So being able to write down your feelings and your emotions and really being able to, say what's going on today. And I took deep dives every day. I would, if anger would show up, I would deep dive into why I was angry. I would deep dive into why I was fearful. And what I found out is, in my life, a lot of times I would show up and I was a martyr. I felt like I had to be perfect. And so being perfect meant that I had to do things that I didn't necessarily want to do for people that didn't really appreciate it. And so that was toxic. And so the first thing I learned to do is set boundaries. And then once I set those boundaries, my life could get a little better. But that was all a part of the plan. But you see how this works. You've got to identify these things that need to change in order for you to be able to move forward. So I'd like to just kind of, show you what that looks like on kind of a framework. And so being able to just kind of draw that out for you I think will be helpful for you. So we start out here. This is where we are. This is our current state. This is, in this new thing that we're doing, this is the baseline, right? And so where do we want to be? Well, we may know some things because we've, maybe always wanted it, or we've reflected on it enough to where we know what this vision is. So we have where we are and where we want to be. And so going back to where we are, we need to know who we are, what do we enjoy, what fulfills us. We need to look in that journal, and we need to understand the situations that are making us happy. We need to say, what's happening in my life that is working for me, and what's happening in my life that's not working for me. And so that's number one. Number one, who am I? So then after we get clear on who we are and what we enjoy and what we like, then we need to deal with some roadblocks, because this is our baseline, and here is this big wall that's in front of us that's keeping us from where we want to be. And so in my life, like I told you a minute ago, that's anger. That was fear. And that might have been some insecurities. And you might even get, a little bit more in detail about what's going on. Like I told you, I had some toxic things going on. So toxic, let's say, relationships, toxic situations. Maybe you're driving yourself too hard. Maybe you're trying to be a perfectionist like I was. And knowing these are my roadblocks. These are the things that are getting in my way. And then we've got to figure out how we're going to bust through those. So this is the breakthrough. We're breaking through that wall, because we cannot even get on the road to where we want to be until we break through that wall. And so getting clarity looks like this. These are the two pieces that we have to work through in order to get there. So in order to get clarity. So number one is who am I? Number two is the roadblocks. And then being able to think about the future and where you want to be and what does that look. We're not going to do the plan yet. We're not going to even think about any of that. What we're going to focus on right now is just where we want to be. What does that look like? Based on the view and the perspective that you got here with who you are and what your roadblocks are, now we need to talk about where we want to be. Well, I knew I wanted to own my own business. And so, like I said, the clarity that I got here that said that I wanted to be a leader and that I wanted to, analyze and help people improve their processes, then I was able to say, okay, I want a business like this. And then because I love small business and because I love what I did in the corporate world, I knew I wanted to keep those elements. And so for me, it meant creating a business where I could be a guide to small businesses that were growing and that were profitable, but maybe they needed a lot of process improvement, because this area right here, this niche, so to speak, this stage that a business owner is when they're profitable and growing, they don't have a lot of time. Their leadership needs a little bit of work so that they can get that mindset to be able to get to where they want to go. And then also the processes, that the very same processes that I was implementing at the corporate world need to be implemented at this stage for the business to be able to take off and for it to be sustainable, and for you as the business owner to claim back your time. So that's why I kind of landed there and where I am today, and building my business and being able to get there. And so obviously these are just the first pieces. There were several other things, if you remember, in the 7 steps, and we'll dig into those. But for today, just remember, figure out who you are, what your roadblocks are, and what your vision is of where you want to be. And then also being able to do that as the business owner, because right now you and your business are one. And so where do you want to be in the future is going to determine the decisions that you make in getting from here to here. And so we have in being able to get from here to here in those decisions of what we're going to do with our time, what we're going to do with our resources, which could be money or people or just energy, and how we're going to get there. That's what goes into the plan. But before we can even create the plan, we have to know this piece right here: where we are, who we are, what's the problem, and then getting to where we want to be. All right, well, that was it for today. Please leave me comments in the comment section below, and let me know if you've got some stories of how you did this or how you do this. And we will talk to you next week. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that like button. Every like helps us to reach new people. And if you want to see new videos on leadership, strategy, and project management to help you with your business or career every week, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Also, please let us know what your top leadership, strategy, and project management challenges are so that we can make some new videos in the future with your feedback. Thank you for watching. I'm Annette Blankenship, and I'll see you in the next video.